Breaking news here on CNN. It's the top of the hour. Michael Flynn has resigned tonight in the wake of the Justice Department's warning to the White House over his contacts with the Russian ambassador. This is CNN Tonight. I'm Don Lemon. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. The Justice Department had also warned that Flynn was potentially vulnerable to blackmail by the Russians. I'm going to get right to our senior diplomatic correspondent, Michelle Kaczynski is here. Also, Gloria Borger joins us as well. Our Jim Acosta is with us. And I believe we have Alice Stewart, who is standing by, who's also getting information from her sources within the administration. Gloria Borger is helping to break this news for us. Gloria, you were saying the president wanted to stick by General Flynn, but General Flynn insisted and resigned tonight.
Well, I think that what happened was there was a flood of information coming in, and the president, I was told by one source, is very loyal to the people who have been loyal to him, and you'll recall that Flynn was very loyal to him, and that I was told it was this, quote, flood of information that was coming in, that in the end the dam burst and the president had no choice.
Gloria, I hate to interrupt you. You know how much I love you, but I've got to get to Jim Acosta because Jim has some breaking news on this. Stand by, Gloria. Jim Acosta, our White House correspondent. Jim, what do you have for us?
Yeah, Don, I just wanted to read to you. We just obtained the resignation letter from the retired General Michael Flynn, the former National Security Advisor to President Trump. We don't have time to put this up on screen, so I'll just read this to you, Don. It says, in the course of my duties as the incoming National Security Advisor, I held numerous phone calls with foreign counterparts, ministers, and ambassadors. These calls were to facilitate a smooth transition and begin to build the necessary relationships between the president, his advisors, and foreign leaders. Such calls are standard practice in any transition of this magnitude. Unfortunately, because of the fast pace of events, I inadvertently briefed the Vice President-elect and others with incomplete information regarding my phone calls with the Russian ambassador. I have sincerely apologized to the President and the Vice President, and they have accepted my apology. Continuing on here, throughout my over 30 years of honorable military service and my tenure at as a National Security Advisor, I've always performed my duties with the utmost of integrity and honesty to those I have served, to include the President of the United States. It goes on to say, I am tendering my resignation, honored to have served our nation and the American people in such a distinguished way. I am also extremely honored to have served President Trump, who in just 3 weeks has reoriented American foreign policy in fundamental ways to restore America's leadership position in the world. As I step away, it's almost done here, Don. As I step away once again from serving my nation in this current capacity, I wish to thank President Trump for his personal loyalty, the friendship of those who I worked with throughout the hard-fought campaign, the challenging period of transition, and during the early days of his presidency. I know with the strong leadership of President Donald J. Trump and Vice President Mike Pence and the superb team they are assembling, this team will go down in history as one of the greatest presidencies in U.S. history. I firmly believe the American people will be well served as they work together to help make America great again. Signed by Michael Flynn. Don, that is a pretty stunning development. We're in week 4 of this new administration, and right now the President of the United States does not have a permanent National Security Advisor. He has an acting National Security Advisor. From what we understand, it's General Kellogg. According to sources who are talking to us tonight, General Keith Kellogg is somebody who worked with the Trump transition team, was a National Security Advisor during the Trump transition process. And so this is a stunning development. We were hearing just yesterday that Mike Flynn had no intention to resign and was not expecting to be fired today. But obviously the day's events have caught up with him. The weight of this scandal was enough to force him out of this very important position in the Trump administration. And Don, what we're hearing from sources at this point, there are some names coming up as a potential replacement for Michael Flynn. One of them is the retired General David Petraeus. That is a name you're going to be hearing about a lot here in the coming days, Don.
Yeah, and I'm glad you answered the question because I asked Gloria, and as Gloria was in the middle of getting breaking news information, she mentioned that it might be General Kellogg, but she was not sure. But the acting National Security Advisor now, as far as you know, is General Kellogg.
That's right. From what we understand, the acting National Security Advisor is going to be retired General Keith Kellogg. from we know from covering this campaign, was an advisor to then candidate Trump, and then served in that capacity during the transition. He's also well respected. He was one of those officials that had been talked about potentially for national security advisor, and it was not did not receive that position. However, at this point, he probably is very well positioned to take on that position permanently. There are going to be questions raised about David Petraeus. Donald Trump talked, very positively about David Petraeus during the campaign. Said he received a raw deal and so forth, had been punished too much. You'll recall he had given classified secrets to his girlfriend. Several years back, he pled guilty to that, and the question is going to be raised. Obviously, if his name is thrown into the mix, how could you go after Hillary Clinton for her email activity and handling of classified information? How can you go after Hillary Clinton on that if you're going to bring in David Petraeus and make him your national security advisor? That is going to be a part of this conversation in the coming days. Yeah. But at this point, they just haven't settled in on a permanent national security advisor. They have an acting one. And my suspicion is that you're going to see candidates circling through the White House in the coming days as they try to sort this out, Don.
All right, stand by, Jim Acosta, and that's a breaking news. Jim, don't go anywhere because I'll need you. The breaking news now, Michael Flynn has resigned. That was according to two sources, but now it's according to him as well. Jim Acosta just read his resignation letter live on CNN. Gloria Borger has also been following this for us. Gloria, this makes him, the shortest serving senior presidential advisor in modern history. He was on the job for less than a month.
Yes, and one would think that would make him the shortest serving. I think he had, multiple problems that just were burgeoning. And I think, of course, when it was discovered that, in fact, that he had not told the vice president the truth about what he had talked to the Russians about, I think that became a huge problem internally for him. There was not a lot of goodwill for him internally at the White House. There was a sense that over the last couple of weeks, that his office was not run well, and that there were numerous problems over there. And I think that in the end, and again, this source said to me, the president hung in there, but in the end, there was too much information coming in. What I can tell you, and just to echo what Jim said, is that temporarily, at least, retired Army Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, who is now Chief of Staff and Executive Secretary of the NSC, is in charge. But the question is, does he have the job, or will there be other people coming in? Petraeus is coming in tomorrow. I had one source say to me that Petraeus may be making a run for it, but this source also said he does have a lot of baggage, and that's the baggage that Jim Acosta was just talking about his own history of sharing classified information, which could be a real problem for Donald Trump since he used that repeatedly in the campaign against Hillary Clinton in regards to her emails. So I think Kellogg is somebody regarded as solid. Apparently he has a good relationship with K.T. McFarland, who is the number 2 over there. But I do think that, this is a White House that now needs to decide who his national security advisor is going to be.
Yeah, and Gloria, the information that Gloria is reporting now, again, as you see on the screen, National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, General Michael Flynn, has resigned. Jim Acosta reading the resignation letter on television. Gloria Borger breaking the news for us here on CNN. And as Gloria is reporting, 3 possible replacements for Michael Flynn now. General Keith Kellogg will be the interim National Security Advisor. That's according to multiple sources telling CNN. He is now the NSC Chief of Staff currently, as Gloria just reported. And a senior administration official also telling Jim Acosta, our Sarah Murray and Gloria Borger, that Kellogg, it says that Kellogg, retired General David Petraeus, and former Vice Admiral Bob Harwood, those are the folks who are under consideration. Gloria, do I have that correct?
Yes. Look, we don't know who the next national security advisor is going to be. We know who it is acting now. We know Petraeus is coming in tomorrow. But there have been other names, and I think that, the White House needs to conduct a search that's complete here given what's transpired over the last 3 weeks. And so, as long as they can keep it running, they need to come up with somebody that the president has confidence in, and they may not be looking for controversy with Petraeus. You know, Petraeus is very well regarded, except for that problem. And I think there are other names that have come up. So I think I think we're just going to have to wait and see on that.
Okay, Gloria, stand by. Jim Acosta, stand by as well. I want to get to CNN senior political commentator David Axelrod now to get his reaction to this breaking news. David Axelrod, what's your reaction to Flynn's resignation?